great actor, Mr. Aidan Quinn, here to talk about his new film, Blacklight. It's in theaters right now. Welcome to Bevelations, sir.
Oh, so nice to be there. Here.
Yes, indeed.
How are you?
Yes, here. Your new film, which stars your pal, Liam Neeson, it's about a government operative played by Liam who's coming to terms with his shadowy past when he discovers a plot targeting U.S. citizens and finds himself in the crosshairs of the FBI director he once helped protect.
That is correct.
Yes. And now, of course, because you and Liam Neeson have been together in so many different films and you're actually pals, was that one of the reasons why you wanted to sign on?
The paycheck, the location,
I love
the script, the fun part, and and getting to work during COVID, which was a rarity when we did it a year ago. So we had to go all the way across the world to Australia to do it because they had zero COVID. They had zero COVID over there at that time.
Yeah.
So, and that was a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I talked to so many actors who went over to New Zealand and to Australia during the raging of the pandemic a year ago. And it was like a vacation proper because you were able to go to movies. You were able to eat inside restaurants. There were no masks being worn. It was really the good life, right?
It was phenomenal. After the 2 weeks of quarantine, which 2 weeks of quarantine is, you're locked in a room by yourself. That was a little challenging. But after that, yes, freedom, total freedom. So it was great. Yes, it was great.
And so you were able to run all around Australia, shooting guns, giving orders to kill folks, and basically bullying one of your besties. And so that must have been a good time.
Exactly. Yeah. And getting paid to do it. All good.
And getting paid to do it. There you go. You are the villain in this film. You're very sinister. You're very cold. You're a part of the government, but you're actually killing U.S. Citizens who are whistleblowers and things. And so, I don't know how you feel about whistleblowers and about the government, but do you have even the slightest tinge of conspiracy theorist in you?
My politics would be probably diametrically opposed to the character I played. I mean, this fella has a J. Edgar Hooverish thing. He believes the country's gone to hell in a handbasket, and he wants to go back to traditional values. And like a lot of empowered old white men, he's afraid of what's happening and the changes that's happening in our country and in the world, and he wants to go back to the old ways that he grew up with. Yeah.
I love that you referenced J. Edgar Hoover because I know that you're a history buff because we're going to actually talk a little bit about The American Guest as well, where you play Teddy Roosevelt. But I think it's important for us to shine a light on these kind of characters. Of course, this is just a film. But, this is a real thing. There are people within our government that work against the good of the American people. And so it's important that we do this kind of work. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And going back, even, in all these issues were still going on, they were going on 100 years ago with Theodore Roosevelt and all the things went on there with he was the first president to invite a black man to dine at the White House, and it caused it caused people to die, but it had to happen. You know what I mean? It caused Booker T. Washington to have death threats for the rest of his life, as did the Roosevelt family after that. But these things, we've got to step forward. We've got to change.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so sorry. There's something just happened to my computer, so I'm just gonna wing it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what just happened. They just told me I've been infected with a virus. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Whoa, live. This is live radio, guys.
Which virus?
I don't even. Hopefully not the damn COVID. We're over that shit. Where you based? Where you based at?
I'm right now looking at a full moon rising over the mountain in upstate New York. We live in
Nice.
New York.
Okay,
Yeah,
good, good, good. Yeah,
and
I'm in New York City. I'm in Harlem. So, we're about
yeah,
2 hours apart, right?
right. That's right. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
also spent time in Rockland County and in the
okay.
city a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
I know that you actually said that Liam Neeson and you guys, your families are close because you both used to spend a lot of time together upstate, yeah?
Yes, yes, that's true. Upstate, and we worked together in Ireland, where he's from, and where I used to live as a youngster too. And yeah, our families have got to spend quite a bit of time together over the years. Gone away to holidays together and all that. It's been really nice. Very close to
Yeah.
the family. Yeah.
It's really.
Danny, his son is our godchild. My wife and
Oh,
I,
wow.
our godchild. Yeah.
Well, that's how you
Yeah.
know you're really
And
in good because when you get to be a godfather, but you do realize. Well,
yeah,
I don't have to tell you because you're Catholic or Protestant.
yes,
Okay,
born and
Catholic,
bred Catholic. Yes.
of course. So okay, so you know that being a godfather is a big deal. It's not like
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, big deal. And we love Michael, his other son, just as much.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've had quite the career. You were on People magazine when you were a young kid actor, and a lot of buzz around you, but it feels like now your career has really settled into you being a actor with a lot of gravitas attached to your name. You get to have,
Hmm.
you've not been typecast. You get to play,
Hmm.
you get to work in indies. You get to work in big budget films like Blacklight.
Hmm.
You get to do television series and just different
Hmm.
things for yourself. Are you happy with the way your career has turned out? Because a lot of people from when you first started out from your era went on to
Hmm.
become big old heartthrobs, right? And
Hmm.
become these movie star types. And you
Hmm.
went on to have just this wonderful career where you can work solidly and be respected in the business. Do you ever wish that maybe you had gone the route of heartthrob movie star, or do you like it the way it is now?
No, no. I kind of, you kind of carve out a path that's kind of meant for you, and I don't think I do very well with that other role. But
Yeah.
there is always a little bit of the grass is always greener. I'd like to have as much fun as Miss Bevelations has. I'd like to have more fun. I want to do some comedy. I want to do,
Yeah.
and I don't get considered for that too much. When you do a lead role in the theater, then you always have to have a comic bone in you. So
Yeah.
you get a little typecast in film and television. So I certainly would like to branch out in those areas. I'd like to direct in the future. There's always always challenges ahead that you want to still accomplish.
Yeah, but that's the great thing about the business now. It's always been, easier for men to act. You can still, be a viable star in theater and in TV and in film, at 80 years old or what have you. So you got a long ways to go before, it's lights out for you. So you got a lot of time to still direct and be in comedies. Don't you agree?
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I hope I have another 25 years. Yes, absolutely.
At least, you
That'd
think
be
about,
nice.
right? If you think about Betty White, she was still working into her 90s. Why
Right?
not you?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I did a film with John Gielgud. I think he was about 90.
Yes.
I think it
There
might have
you
been his
go.
last film, or
Yeah.
91 or 92 or something. Yeah.
So
And
now
he
you're
was
telling me that you
excellent in
killed
it.
off John Gielgud. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I wasn't me. It wasn't
It
me.
wasn't you. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about The American Guest, which is streaming now on HBO Max. You play Teddy Roosevelt towards the end of his life. How much did you know about Teddy Roosevelt before getting this gig? Were you a history buff?
Well, probably. I like history. I've always liked history, but I probably knew as much as most Americans that had a high school history, and that a little bit more maybe because I like history. But so I didn't know so many things about him. I didn't know, the whole thing about, he was he was a war hero, and yet he was a Nobel Peace Prize. He won the Nobel Peace Prize. He was an avid hunter, yet we wouldn't have national parks. We wouldn't have clean air in this country without Theodore Roosevelt. He was, I think, the most extraordinary political figure we've had in the presidency, for sure. For sure.
Well, a very complex man, too.
These things about, he was. Yes, I mean, we had these great things about there was a regiment going back into the 1890s, the 10th Cavalry, which was called the Negro Cavalry, and that he fought alongside, and that he treated with complete respect. And yet, then there was an incident with the Brownsville incident, which was probably the biggest stain on his entire life, as far as like all the great things he did. But he allowed the court there to, dismiss 156 something soldiers, and take away their pensions and salaries because of supposedly hurting a couple of white people. Well, subsequent investigations decades later, proved it was the opposite. So it's a very, very complex character, but it's a fascinating story about his exploration of the Amazon at the late, and his battle with and respect for the brown people, the culture of the Brazilians that he was exploring with, and the cultural differences and how they came to really, really love and respect each other, even though they had many battles about how things were done. And then there's a lot of flashbacks to his time. Yeah.
But Aidan, that we just took down a statue at the Museum of Natural History on Central Park West because of the way he depicted blacks and indigenous people as subjugated and racially inferior. My daddy was a history buff, and he would tell me that he had Booker T. Washington to the White House and all that kind of stuff. And also, he was a supporter of the suffragette movement of women getting the right to vote and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But he also would tell me about, because what you're talking about with the Amazon, that was also looked at as, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of like colonizing and also destroying, culture and different things like that. So do you guys touch on that part of it? Yes.
That's very much, that subject matter is dealt on head on in this. And I think you'd be surprised to hear his views on it. And a lot of the quotes that were used from his actual speeches and the respect and love that the Brazilian explorer Rondon had for him, and they had together for each other. So, I mean, I think if you give this script, this wonderful script by Matthew Chapman, who was a great grandson of who's the guy for evolution? I can't think of the
Darwin?
theory of evolution. Yes,
Darwin?
He's the great grandson of Charles Darwin. He wrote our script, and it's a wonderful script. And we have a wonderful cast, and I think you'll see all of that is dealt on pretty head on and in a really forthright way. Yeah.
I think, I think that's one of the good things about what's going on now when we're looking at historical portraits of folks in pop culture and in film and TV. We, once upon a time, that would have just been a story about the kind of glorification of Roosevelt. And what you're telling me now is that they do look at his flaws and his blemishes, and they do discuss that. That's so important. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the crucial parts of the story. Yeah, the conflicts and where they have to come to sort it out, or because if they don't learn how to get along, the American side and the Brazilian side going down the Amazon, they're all going to die. So they, and they end up appreciating each other's cultures in some ways and working together. Although there was death and there was a murder and then people died of diseases and that, as did almost Roosevelt many times. But it's a fascinating story. Yeah.
And you guys actually shot in the Amazon, right?
We did indeed. Oh my God, yes, we did indeed.
Yeah, which I would imagine was tough.
It is a very, very tough place to shoot. The Amazon jungle is an extraordinary place, but it literally eats most things alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And including costumes and leather and skin and you just you really have to know how to live there, and it's a difficult place to make a movie. Yeah, very difficult. We had actors on boats, including myself, in rapids that turned over and got trapped under the boat. We had poisonous snakes, like I had a coral snake that was right outside my shower that I almost stepped on, which is one of the deadliest snakes in the world. And I had another snake one time I almost stepped, but this is part of doing this job. That's the adventure of it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what? It sounds like the American Guest might have been as dangerous as Blacklight. But you know what? I am so happy to be chatting with you, and that, you are a great actor that folks should really admire because of the span of work that you get to do. So they get to see you in two things. Blacklight right now is in theaters, and also American Guest is streaming right now on HBO Max. Thank you so much, Aidan Quinn, for coming on Bevelations.
And I just want to say, Beverly, she's single, but she's ready to mingle, everybody.
Yes! I'm single.
I that earlier today.
If you know any Pisces, baby, let me know, okay?
Okay.
Bye, love.
Okay, Scorpio. My wife's a Scorpio. Okay,
so you already know what it is, Aidan. All right, bye, baby. I'm Beverly Smith.